Hello there, and welcome to Nerd Virgin. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Greg.
Yeah, and today we've got episode 1 for you. We're going to give you a little bit about what we are, what we know, an intro to where Nerd Virgin came from, and what's to come. So enjoy it. Like, follow, comment, share, and here's episode 1.
Yeah. May the force be with you.
Ugh, you got all the way through it.
I did. What's up, you Padawans and Muggles? Welcome to episode 1 of Nerd Virgin.
Yeah, here we are. And we'll start with the fact that we're by no means experts, but huge fans.
Very huge fans since childhood.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're not getting paid by anyone. This is just a passion project.
God, no.
We hope we can entertain you and you laugh along with us and don't judge us too hard.
Please don't. Please don't. So we're going to be chatting about Harry Potter and Star Wars, but experiencing for the very first time. Except, you know, jack shit about Harry Potter. I don't know all that much about Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just going off pop culture and what you've shoved down my throat.
Thanks so much.
Or in my ears.
For that. I know it's actually impossible to avoid the two of them in pop culture these days.
No, I was a huge Family Guy fan, and like I don't have to see movies like Scarface because of like American Dad, Family Guy, and all that stuff.
Because they do all the scenes from Scarface.
They just do, like pop culture does all that stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
SNL has attacked Harry Potter a few times.
Yeah, SNL, anything Seth MacFarlane, I feel like I've seen.
There's so many. There's so many movies, and there's so many people that refer to. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to not hear a celebrity ask the question, "What house are you sorted into in Hogwarts?"
What?
Right. Well, you don't know. Wait, can you name the 4 houses? This is not our
Ravenclaw.
That's one. There's 4.
Hogschmug.
Nope.
Um.
That can't be serious. You're not serious about that.
No, that was a joke.
Okay.
I've heard of Ravenclaw,
Yeah.
just like walking in a bookstore.
Like, I'm a blank.
I'm sure at least 2 others I've heard.
Yeah.
But they're not coming to mind.
Okay, so you'd need like a multiple choice quiz to get that.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well,
There's 4.
there's 4 houses
Okay.
in this school. Ilvermorny also has 4.
Jesus
Okay.
What
Okay.
am I
Anyway.
getting myself into?
So before we get into that stuff, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience in life with Star Wars?
Sure. So, I'm the youngest of 4, and my brother, who's 6 years older than me, I got handed down like all his toys. And my favorite toys of his were the Star Wars toys. So I pretty much inherited all his figures and probably was playing with them before I watched the movies. And I know my late dad had a ton of stuff on VHS, and he had the trilogy. So I probably watched those on my own.
Those came out in the 70s,
Yeah.
and the toys were probably like 80s.
77 was A New Hope. Then 80 was Empire.
Oh, okay.
83 was Jedi.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Because our older, what's it? Your brother's 6 years older. Than
Brother's
you.
6 years older than
Okay.
me. I was born in 85.
Yeah.
So I definitely wasn't in the movie theater to see Return of the Jedi.
No.
But
No.
sorry, no, they came out before. -2. Sorry.
It wasn't one of
-2.
those mommy and
I wasn't
baby
alive before I was
showings?
alive to see Return of the Jedi. But no, so I was playing with the toys. I definitely watched them on VHS, and then they were just on TV all the time, and I became hooked.
How old were you the first time you watched it? Do you know or guess?
5, 6. I can't.
Are
see
they
it.
appropriate for 5 or 6 year olds?
I mean, it's.
I mean, Leia's in like a bikini. That's all I know, right?
Well, in one of them, yeah.
Is there sex?
No.
Do they allude to sex?
They allude to it, maybe.
What about language?
Depends on how you take it. No, adult language?
No.
No.
70s wasn't really risque, I guess, in
No.
movies.
It was honestly the biggest thing was Leia in her slave costume, showing some major
Everybody's seen her in the gold bikini
major cleave.
and her like cinnamon bun years.
Yeah. No, nothing like that. Nothing really risque. There are some pervs that hint to maybe
Shocking.
some gross stuff went on. You'll get to that in the third movie. But no, so I just grew up loving the films, getting all the toys. Like George Lucas was ahead of the game with merchandise and all that stuff. I think that's the deal he took. Like he wanted to be in charge of all merchandising for these movies.
How long was it before they joined up with Disney?
Exact year you're gonna get me? Maybe 2015, 16.
Oh, okay. So like up until recent years, like up
Yeah,
until the last
yeah.
decade, he was
No,
still
Disney-
doing it all on his own.
Disney bought it for like 4.2 billion.
Yeah, that
with
makes sense.
Lucasfilm and all that.
So they just had a partnership with them for the rides and shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was all through. I believe that was maybe like MGM at the time.
Okay.
Had one Star Wars ride or something, and then Disney fully bought it.
Yeah.
And then Disney came out with their 3 movies in the Star Wars saga.
We're dating ourselves, by the way. MGM is no longer MGM. It's Hollywood Studios.
So you didn't even know that.
We're old. Beep, beep, beep.
But no, love it. Loved it since I was a kid. Stuck with it. And nothing else, as you'll learn, as you come to learn about me, nothing else besides the Marvel stuff has really grabbed me.
Yeah.
Like, no Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No Harry Potter. No Star Trek. No Lord of the Rings. It was really just Star Wars for me.
You're just like constantly seeking to fill that void.
But Star Wars has, like, I don't know. I love everything. My blind spot would be the novels / comic books.
Yeah.
I know kind of what's going on with them, but I don't
They all
really.
came out after.
There were a ton of novels.
And they're not written by George Lucas.
No, there were a ton of novels that came out like early 90s, following Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
I own some of them, but I don't read.
You're gonna read.
I'm gonna read. Gonna read for this podcast. But when Disney came and bought it, a lot of that stuff went to the wayside as no longer canon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called like the legend stuff. But
So people now that are new fans won't accept that as canon, but
no, the new fans probably don't know of it.
oh damn.
But the OGs were like,
You
no.
still get your hands on all that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't checked prices. They're probably up there now.
Oh, like they're not in reprint.
No, not that I know of. Not
Why?
that
Because Disney won't reprint them because they're
it's
not.
not canon.
Oh damn.
So, but there are
Do they write them into the current stories? I know I'm getting ahead of myself here.
the guy in charge. So it's Jon Favreau now,
Yeah.
and oh my god,
Who's also in charge of Marvel? Like he's got his hands in everything.
yeah, and my favorite guy. I can't think of his damn name. The guy who's doing Ahsoka now. Oh, fans are gonna kill me for this. I can't think of his damn name, but I love him. He will write stuff in.
Okay.
And it's more than just Easter egg stuff. It's like, no, now it's canon.
Oh, like making it canon.
Yeah. And I can't believe
Slipping it
blanking
by
on
the
his
Disney
name.
producers.
Yes.
Dun dun dun. All right, cool. So
Dave
all right.
Filoni. My guy. Sorry.
My baloney.
Dave Filoni is the man. He's George Lucas light.
Okay. All right. So George Lucas is still alive, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 5 or 6, you watch the first couple of movies, grow up. The second 3 came out when we were in like middle school, high school,
Yeah. Middle
Okay.
school and high school.
and then there's 9 movies. So the last 3 have come out since what, 2010?
Yeah.
Okay.
Later, yeah.
And then since then, there's also Mandalorian.
There's the Disney shows that have come out and are coming out.
Is there only the one? No, there's more than one, right?
Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka's coming. There's Bad Batch, which is just animated. Clone Wars, which are awesome.
Is that-
Rebels,
that's a show, too?
awesome. Both animated.
all on
Resistance,
Disney?
animated. All this stuff is Disney property now.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Holy credible. There's 5 extra shows.
yeah.
To be up to date, you
with
have to watch all
more-
the animated
with
stuff?
more coming.
Is it kind of like Marvel's What If?
No, Marvel's What If is kind of like an offshoot, separate universe kind of thing.
No, but according to people, I mean, I'm just
Well,
dipping my toes into Marvel. But
Doctor Strange 2 tied all that in. But a lot of
Okay.
people who didn't watch What If didn't know what the hell was
That's
going
what
on.
I'm saying. So like you have to know. So with the
You-
Star
yes,
Wars
yes.
stuff, you have
Disney-
to watch.
What I find is that Disney is expecting you to watch every show.
Okay. All right.
Marvel, Star Wars, whatever.
And you're up to date.
No, but I'm getting there before so.
When did the last one come out?
Last show.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian season 3 ended earlier this year, but there's been 2 seasons of Bad Batch, which is animated.
Okay.
And like Tales of the Jedi, which explores a young character.
You haven't watched that.
No, but they're animated. I'll catch up quickly. I'm gonna do a crazy cram sesh just to get my blood pumping for Ahsoka, which I can't wait for.
Okay. And when does that come out?
August
Damn.
next month.
Fun. Okay. So you need to know all the things. You got to know all the things because I'm going to ask you
It's
questions.
gonna be. Oh, I will. It's gonna be a refresher. I'm gonna watch the cartoons for a refresher. I know where Ahsoka's picking up,
Okay.
and if you've watched Mandalorian, you know who Ahsoka's looking for, but I don't know if you know why, and I know all that. She's my 3rd favorite character.
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
I don't
love
even
her.
know her.
Love it. Ahsoka. Barely know it.
Okay.
Yeah, love her. Can't wait.
All right. So you're not, again, we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination, but we know a lot of it. We could carry. Like, would you do well at a Star Wars trivia night?
Yes.
Fab. Matt and I went a couple of weeks ago to a Harry Potter trivia. It was like 170 participants. We were in 7th place.
Nice.
Boom. And only because the app was dying. Like there was a point where the two of us, we weren't even eating our dinner. We were just like, and then one of our phones froze. I was like, no, because the prize that was up was like I think it was like a gift card, whatever. I wanted it. And the first 50 people that showed up got wands, and we weren't even the first 50 people.
Oh, if there's a prize, I'm finishing top 10.
That's what I'm saying. Top 7 out of 170 is not bad though, and it was it was actually really encompassing. Okay, so Harry Potter and me. So one of my your favorite of my previous best friends, came camping with us one summer. I think I was 12 or 13. I was in middle school. I know that I was well beyond it because actually my first experience with the books was somebody who recorded Sam, who recorded one of our stump questions for later. She brought them with us on a family vacation, and she's like, "It's a book about wizards." I'm like, "You're a tool," and she just read her book, and I just kept going, not reading because I wasn't a reader either. And then the following summer, the 4th book was coming out that summer in like a month, and Sue came with the first book. And she's like, I don't know, I'm going to give it a go. Halfway through the book, she was like, this is boring. And I was bored out of my mind one day in the tent, and I just started reading it, and I could not put it down. And I want to say that my mom's friend had the 2nd book. But by the time that I got home, I had all 3, and I had like a week left for the 4th one, and I was like, "Give it to me!" Like I need this book. They were the only books that ever like made me sit down and read. And from then till this very day, I was what, 12, 13? We're going on 22 years ago. I have read the entire series 14 times from start to finish.
Crazy.
And but I get something new out of it every single time. Like I started reading it as a kid, then I read it as a college/adult, and I got something different out of it. Then I read it as a professional, and I got something different. I teach. Didn't know if I wanted to say that, but I teach. And as a teacher, I got something totally
She's a
different out of it.
Taekwondo instructor. Everyone.
And then becoming a parent. Oh God, it's totally different because these kids are 11 in the book, 12, and you're like, what parent? This kid writes home about this stuff. You're like, get out of there. Anyway, one of my favorite podcasts, actually, shout out to Mugglecast. Their ongoing joke about the series is that it's a security nightmare. Like it's just like a parent's worst nightmare. Anyway, after that, I wanted anything. I wanted to consume anything that was Harry Potter. If you could buy it, I bought it. I remember following MuggleNet, the earliest days of the online forums and news and chat rooms and all those things. I followed everything. And then when the park opened up in Florida, I started listening to their podcast, which was newer at the time. Yeah, oh God, they started in 2005. Um, and they were talking about the park, and I was at the park the third day it was open in Florida.
Nice.
It was insane. It was insane to get in. We waited. We got there stupid early in the morning. We waited for 4 hours to get in that park, on the line of people waiting just to be there. And it was so unbelievable. And that was only when they had one part of it open in one place in the world. And now they've opened the second part of the park, which is such a money grab. It is. You have to pay for a double park pass to ride everything, which is so annoying. But obviously, I'm going to pay for it because I'm a sucker. And then did Fantastic Beasts come out first, or did the play?
Nice. I forgot Filoni. You forgot releases. This is good.
Oh, I'm terrible with dates. I'm as bad with dates as I am with geography. I don't remember if it was the play first or the Fantastic series, the Fantastic Beasts series. But either way, I've seen all the Fantastic Beasts movies, which have a lot of controversy with them having to do with actors, which is funny. We were just talking about Marvel. And I saw the play the first summer it came out. Bad teaching. The day that the tickets, so you had to sign up to get like a pre-sale code, and then the day of that day, you weren't even like guaranteed a spot for tickets.
Now, this is for a Broadway play.
Yes, and this is a 2-part. This is when it was 2 parts. It's now 1 play, but it was 2 plays, and you actually got like a 2-hour intermission. It was 3. It was however many hours with an intermission. Then you got a space in between, and then another 3-hour play. So you went to 2 separate showings. And the day, my like window for tickets was 10 a.m. to 11, and I was working, and I literally looked at the kids in my room. I was like, if all of you shut the fuck up, I will buy you pizza. and I got tickets.
I think you told me that.
And I bought them pizza next week.
Well, I see your Broadway play, and I raise you the off-Broadway play, the only thing I've seen performed in the city like this. One-man Star Wars show where one guy just went up there.
No, so funny because they did a Harry Potter one, and Brad and I went to see it. It was actually really funny. It was 2 guys. It was like all 7 Harry Potter books in 40 minutes. Hilarious. Hilarious. Those 2 guys, at one point where they're like blowing through a book, but they're all the characters. So they just keep like running around this one trunk of clothes, and then they come back around as somebody else, but they've got like a mop on their head or like whatever. And they like drag this snake around. You'll understand that later. And then they also, Puffs is one of the more successful. It went from off-Broadway. Did it wind up? No, it wasn't on Broadway, but off-Broadway. Crazy following. And then in 2020, I'm pointing outside because 2020, they did a recording of it and you could watch it from home. You paid to watch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was so awesome. Puffs is hilarious. Puffs is like when you get to know more. I'll pause it there. Anyway, my life with Harry Potter has been like to the point where when I had my first daughter, people were like, "Are you gonna name it Harry?" Like I have a tattoo and half of the things in my house. When you
It's a
start
lower back tat.
you're gonna. It's not a stamp. Tramp.
Okay. If you say so.
Stamp tramp. That's good. I'm dyslexic.
Stamping.
But there's little things you'll see in my house when you start reading the series that allude to the series in a way that is like. Plus, Matt and I met, and it was like, "Oh, you like Harry Potter? Let's get married." So, I'm obsessed. I know so much of it. We quiz each other on long car rides because we're that fascinated with the story. And again, like the more you read it, I also went to a lot of the midnight showings. I was fortunate enough to go to the midnight book drops. I mean, our generation is holding on strong because we're the ones who experienced it firsthand.
Right.
Like
I don't have that, but I.
But you are now.
But I have that with the Disney trilogy. I went
Yeah.
opening night, every movie, and Rogue One. I don't think I rushed to see Solo. But yeah, I've done all that. But that's a good point. When we were discussing how we were going to do this podcast and how, obviously, I'm going to read the books in order. And then we were discussing how you should watch the movies.
Yeah.
If you should go prequels first, because you're in the rare demographic, is that
hasn't
the right
really
word?
experienced
That
it
you haven't
at
experienced it, so
all.
you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But I suggest that she should see it how everyone else did, or mostly everyone else, with 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Versus the order
7.
that they happen in the universe.
Yeah, versus
Yeah.
chronological, I
Yeah.
would do theatrical.
Right.
But yeah, but that's cool because in 30 years, Just like when Lucas, from the time Lucas made the originals till the prequels, you'll be the audience that witnessed both for future projects of Harry
Yeah.
Potter. I wasn't even born when the original trilogy came out, so that's cool.
It's so cool. So
Kind
cool.
of kind of jealous.
No, it was really awesome. And then they've got like the studio tour. The studio tour was insane. So good. Anyway, things to expand upon later in life. I'm a big Harry Potter nerd, nut. It's all over my life. And so for the better part of the last 17 years, because we met in high school.
2011?
What?
2001. 2001.
2011. We are not that young.
Shh, no one knows.
Was it 2001? No, yeah, you graduated in 3, so
2001. 10 off.
2001.
It's all just a decade off.
Yep.
You right?
Yeah, 2001. We met because of mutual now friends, and you made fun of me and my clothes often.
Still do.
And I'll never be able to see Where's Waldo without thinking of that party. And
She wore a red and white striped shirt.
stopping the entire party
Called
to
her
say,
out.
I don't know where Waldo is, but I know where Alicia is.
If there was an animated book, I would have found you.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, literally. Okay. And so, again, the better part of the last 17 years, we've been arguing about which franchise is better, but neither of us have actually experienced the other. So we've just been arguing about shit that we have no knowledge of whatsoever.
Classic us.
Yeah. True. But yeah, you've sent me like, Harry Potter is just Star Wars with, what'd you say, sticks or something like that.
Mistakes, probably.
No.
There's that famous image
Wands.
going around.
You were like, wands are just lightsabers, but made of wood or something. And then you were like, okay, let's compare. There's like Anakin and that, but I don't even know.
Who Anakin is.
Well, did you compare him to Harry Potter? Or I feel like, isn't he the guy? And here we go. Ready? Let's talk about what we know.
Yeah, we're just going into this with that.
Right. So,
Welcome to our Assumption podcast.
enter Nerd Virgin, though, with 17 years of us being friends and arguing about which was better, and me having never really understood Star Wars because I never really took the content in, and you did not read a single.
And I can't read.
Did you? Did you ever watch any of the movies?
I believe I watched the last movie with
Part 1 or part 2?
I almost said Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig is Harry
I watched
Potter.
the last Harry Bond. It was weird. I believe I watched like part 2 of whatever
Part
the last
2.
one.
So it started with a weird opening, and you were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I don't remember anything except I think there was a last fight wand brawl on like a bridge. I believe I remember that.
On a bridge.
I could be wrong.
No, yeah, that's the battle.
The final battle is what I vaguely remember.
Yeah, but
I believe I watched this like 12 or 13 years ago.
The bridge is like the beginning, the final. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you watched
I don't remember shit.
part 2, and it was 11 years ago.
I was
Came out in
definitely
2011.
in college, so I watched it 2010, 2011.
It was 2011 because it was when I left. Like, it was the night I left for Australia. It came out. I watched it. We went to the midnight showing. And then the next morning I left for Australia. And I landed in Australia and went back to the movie theaters with my roommate.
What was longer, the movie or the flight?
The flight. Okay, so enter Nerd Virgin. Enter, welcome to our show. We are going to be taking in what we don't know. And let's be real. Again, back to like regular life, at least in America, you cannot avoid pop culture references to
No.
Harry Potter and Star Wars at all. Like, I know who Jabba the Hutt is. You've not seen Princess Leia in the gold bathing suit.
You know who Chewbacca is?
That's the hairy guy.
Yeah. And you know who Yoda is?
The green one. And there's a baby one now
Correct.
who floats in a tiny little saucer. And then there's, okay, so things I've known about Star Wars. I rode the original ride in Hollywood Studios. I was younger, but again, it's been there for a long time. I've also been to the parks. I sent you video. We could probably drop that somewhere.
Galaxy's Edge.
I literally am like, don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. I don't know. Is that a garbage pail? Don't know what that is. But the Ronto wraps.
If you
were
just
delicious.
called my favorite Star Wars character a garbage pail, we're going to have a problem.
Meep barp. Do you know what a Ronto wrap is? That it's something in the show? Because it was delicious.
Ronto wrap.
Ronto.
Ronto.
Yeah, Ronto wrap. And then we went to Olga's Cantina.
Yeah. I know of all of this just from
Is
researching.
Olga's Cantina
My broke ass hasn't been to Disney since I was like 10.
Is that famous like doot 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 doot
Yeah, the cantina, yeah.
doot, doot? Okay. I know that there's like a bar, and I know that there's green and blue milk because I drank it, but I don't know. I mean, I assume it's like a alcoholic
thing.
beverage. And then what else do I know? I mean, I know a couple of things. I know, Luke, I am your father. Was that James Earl Jones? It was James Earl Jones.
That wasn't, but it is in real life.
I do have a deep voice, but not that voice. And then I have a vague recollection of like Luke and Leia being like, "Ooh, we like each other," and then they're brother and sister.
Do you want to know that?
No, I'm okay. And then Han. Isn't there a Solo movie?
Yeah, I just talked about it 3 minutes ago. Welcome to our podcast where we don't listen to each other's shit.
Okay, but I'm literally going through what I know of the universe. There's really not much. Sorry. And then there's a dinosaur guy that everybody hated in the second 3 with Ewan McGregor. That everybody said, "Oh my god."
My hands are over my mouth right now because I don't want to react or say anything.
There's like a dragon thing, and then there's also who's her face, Natalie Portman, and I'm putting my finger over my lips because her lipstick was only down the center of her lips in those movies, and that's become like a big meme, right? Her and him sitting in the field, and she's like,
Yes.
"Wee," and then she gives him like the death stare.
Yeah, they're very good.
Okay,
Those memes are very good.
but again, like you can't avoid that in pop culture. I know R2D2 and C3PO, but if you held a gun to my head and asked which was the gold one, don't know. And
Interesting.
then,
So what do you think the story is about? Like basic tropes, I guess, genre?
ready? So only because of pieces that I've put together from Weird Al songs and
Nice.
you telling me that it's very much like Harry Potter. There's an orphan.
Well, listen, I'm just, for the fans, I'm just going based off the famous image that I found on the Google where it just pretty much crosses out the Star Wars places and terms and characters and fills in.
You could do that with so many fandoms.
You can, but I saw it.
Okay, I know. You make sure to send it to me.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Even though you have no idea if it's correct.
I've had multiple confirmations that it's pretty damn accurate.
From hell.
Some peeps, family members, friends,
Okay.
some peeps. But no, you're right. That can be.
There was an orphan at some point. I think Anakin. That guy? Is he the one who becomes Darth Vader? I don't know. There's somebody that turns dark, and they wound up doing really bad makeup on him when they thought he was being evil, and they were like, let's just put some eyeliner on him. And then, and then I know the later movies where Adam Driver is like he's like a worse guy. He's like really bad, and he can like crush people with his powers or something. He was, and the only reason I know that is because again, SNL did like a skit where
Yeah, that was a good one.
where isn't he like
Undercover boss.
Yeah. Where he goes in, and they're like, God, Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Okay. Kylo Ren's such a dick. And he's like, yeah, he's a dick. And they kills him or something. No, I think that it's for good versus evil. It's always good versus evil. Green versus red lightsabers. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi is a dude who works with that's my oil being delivered that you hear in the background.
Welcome to podcast recording in a home, part 1.
In suburbia. Yeah.
Obi-Wan works with.
The Resistance,
Interesting.
right? There's like
Right, I'm not saying right.
everything is always about government. Everything's always a reflection of like how crappy the world is, and there's good versus evil, and people trying to suppress people. And I think that the guys in the white hard suits are the bad guys with the big Trojan horses, and then they're trying to beat down, and everybody that's in the like toga party outfits. They're all like,
What?
they're all trying to take over the universe from the bad guys. End of story. Star Wars. Dun, dun. In a galaxy far, far away.
I guess war is in the title.
Okay. So, Harry Potter. What do you know about Harry Potter from pop culture or otherwise?
Little boy, big world. No. So, again, orphan, I believe.
Okay.
Somehow he gets into the wizarding world. I believe people who can't either enter that or see that are muggles.
Okay.
I guess he winds up getting into a school for young little wizards.
Yes.
And then ultimately, I think I've seen that it's a family story. I think Voldemort might be the big bad. I think he might have killed Harry's parents. I don't know if that's true. And then ultimately, again, good versus evil. Red wand versus green wand on a bridge. Looked familiar to me.
There's a bridge in Star Wars? Oh, is that the like hanging above the.
No, I just meant bridge for Harry Potter, but
Okay.
there are walkways and bridges in Star Wars, but they're not that important. Yeah, I think it's good versus evil, wizard world. I know Harry has two little sidekicks.
Do you know their names?
Harry and Meghan. No, I don't know. I, if I think really hard, I might get one of them. Hermine,
Sure.
Hermine, Hermona. I think there's an H.
Hermine.
I know there's a big wizard, a good wizard, bad wizard, guy with no nose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, just the basic gist is good versus evil, wizard fight, wizard world, some kind of butter beer, maybe. Lots of snacks. And yeah, I think that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, you don't got a lot. Do you know anything about the other series?
Like
Fantastic Beasts. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay.
Johnny Depp.
Yes, but again, that's because there's controversy in the news, not because you actually know the story.
No, I see trailers and commercials, and I don't know if that's a prequel or follow up.
Okay.
But I know there's a bunch of wizards. I think that has to more relate to the good wizard. Gandalf? Is that Gandalf, or is that Lord of the Rings? Is who's Gandalf?
Gandalf. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
James Gandolfini was a
Yes,
wizard,
exactly.
and I believe Fantastic Beasts might, or maybe the one with Jude Law. Did Jude Law train Gandolfini
Yeah.
to be a mob boss in Jersey? I don't know. I'm just assuming and going. I'm taking.
You're very
swings,
good at this.
Taking.
Very good. Well, you know pop culture references because you knew Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is a good segue into both what's to come in our dry quiz. So this season is going to be each episode, one of us will be summarizing and reacting to each installment of the franchise that we're experiencing. So opposite person's fandom, aka episode 2 is going to be Greg's response to the first book. He's going to read the first book. And then we're going to ask him how reading a book for an 8-year-old was. Hopefully the lexicon's not too hard for you. And then I'm going to ask him for what he liked, what he disliked, predictions. We're going to do a dry quiz of terms at the end of every episode, as well as additional segments and malarkey. And then the following episode will be me experiencing episode 4.
Yes.
4. I'll be watching the movies and so on and so forth throughout the entire season. We're going to hopefully add in some bonus episodes talking about the My Disney Plus excitement and reactions, as well as Max's upcoming Harry Potter reboot series. That's still, there's not much out about. I think there's rumors of casting, but that's really all we've got at this point. But I'm actually really excited because what they're saying is every book, I don't know if you know this, every book is going to be a season.
No, I like that. Yeah.
So they can flesh it out in a way that they couldn't with the original movie series. Because the movie series, we'll get into how I feel about that later in life. But up until the last, I'd say 4, were just not good.
Yeah, a lot of
People are gonna hate me for that. But
A
if
lot of
you're
people
if you're
don't
an
like-
avid book fan, you just did not. They threw out whole plot series that were so important. And how would they know? Because the books weren't even really done by the time that they started the movies. But like my favorite storylines were thrown out the window, and then they kind of like piecemealed them together. They're like, "Hey, look at this guy. He's gonna be in the living room for 1 second, and bam, now he's dead." And you're like, "What?"
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the Disney trilogy, 7, 8, 9. A lot of people did like them. But it seems like it's like 60-40 dislike. J.J. Abrams came in and kind of threw out what George Lucas had done, or what his plans were.
Threw it out. He bought the rights and then threw it out.
He didn't go by
What George Lucas
had and
Woof.
what was out there and books and stuff like that. And
J.J. Abrams is not involved anymore. It's all
no,
Favreau.
they gave Favreau and a bunch of directors they like the future of film and
Okay.
TV, which
Cool.
I'm not mad at.
No, I don't know, but he's apparently dude. He rocks Marvel.
Yeah, and I'm not here to like shit on the Disney trilogy. You'll get my opinions on them when we get to them.
Yeah.
But just know that in the same tone of the Star Wars, same tone of like the Harry Potter fan who didn't love what was put on the screen.
The last 4 were
It
great.
holds true with Star Wars
The
fans.
first one was just so. It was Christopher Columbus, the guy who did Home Alone. So
He
it's very,
discovered
like,
America, apparently.
Nice. He
Is that his real name?
Chris Columbus, yeah. He directed. He's the guy who did Home Alone, though. So it's very like
he was just writing a movie about spices.
He did really well because again, he was working with 11-year-olds, so it's like really hard to get performances out of 11-year-olds for something that was going to be so dense in like lore. Like they had to build on something with actual 11-year-olds, which is really tough. And they had to hire those actors knowing that they were going to be working with them for the better part of the next decade, not knowing what they were going to do, what they were going to look like, what they were going to like. And J.K. Rowling hadn't even stopped writing the series yet.
Yeah.
So he had to work with what he had. So I get it. But there's certain things as a fan, you're like, how do you throw that out? How do you decide that's the thing? And you had J.K. Rowling.
Now, are these
fingertips.
things that you're thinking of and talking about, are they in deleted scenes, extended version?
No, they deleted entire plot lines.
Yeah.
They had characters there, but they do. Whereas, the late Alan Rickman, so very sad that he's gone. He went directly to the source. He played a character, Snape. I'm sure you've heard the word Snape.
Snape Eyes from G.I. Joe?
Sure.
Snake Eyes.
G.I. Joe.
No, I know.
My
I've
ADHD
seen him.
mind.
I know he wears all black.
Okay, so
Apparently a
he
good guy?
went to J.K. Rowling at the beginning and asked her for the arc of his character, and he knew. He was the only person on the planet
Rolling with the homies.
that knew. Yes, he rolled with the homies.
Nice.
And he knew. So why wasn't she willing to, like, let them know, don't get rid of this plot?
I guess it's out of her hands and she was busy
Like-
writing, right? But what's cool about, and what I'm sure they're going to do with the series Harry Potter, what's cool about Star Wars now being expanded is Filoni and Favreau will take deleted scenes from the original trilogy, put them in, because the timelines match up,
Really?
and put characters and things
Oh, that's
into these
cool.
shows.
Have you seen that already?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, oh shit, that's like a small, minor friggin' detail.
You have to be a big fan to know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But it's fucking cool. It's cool to see. I'm glad that Disney's letting them do whatever.
Are you gonna let me watch the ones that are on Disney Plus?
No, get in your cage.
Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna make me like my brother watch the original, like pew pew, really bad?
If you can find it, I believe your brother told me that.
I know, but we don't have a VH. We don't have a VHR.
You are-
VHR.
VHS.
No, VHS is the tape. The tape.
Oh,
but
VCR. VCR.
VCR. There you go.
I think it would be cool for you to find those, watch those.
Oh, they're gonna be so bad.
But
They're not even formatted for our TVs now. It's gonna be like a box.
yeah, they're like in a
blurry
vault.
box.
They're like buried away, like
I know.
stupid Disney vault.
Disney Vault's mostly open at this point.
No, I know, but these things are like
I know.
buried. But no, if you could find those, great. But it would be easier for you to find like the special editions that were re-released in theaters with better explosions and
Yeah.
CGI creatures.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the magic in Harry Potter is going to be really chintzy in the next couple of years. I think that's why they're ultimately going back to the series, beyond the fact that it's a money grab, like duh. And people like me are going to eat it up. I'm going to want everything. I'm going to want it all. I want everything. I mean, the New York store, if I could just dump it into my house, I would take it. Ooh, we should go there. There's a 2-floor Harry Potter store in New York City. It's amazing.
Now, is that part of the HP experience that comes every year? Is that a
No,
thing?
but I went there. We went there, and then we went to the store. That was like our date a couple of weeks ago. It was so cool. The Harry Potter experience, not a
No?
big fan. But that's because I'm a big fan. So, like, a lot of the things that they had there, I had already seen in the studio tour, and the studio tour is just insane. It's in London at the
Nice.
original lot that they recorded, and it's hours. Because you get to
Yeah.
walk onto sets. It's so cool.
Yeah, I got to get
So
to
cool.
Star Wars Celebration, which is in California.
Is it like that? Is it like a...
It's just panels on panels on panels with special guests and the actors and
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's an event.
But they do have, at least what I've seen, they do have like set costumes on display when you walk
Okay,
in and stuff.
okay.
It's like
Kind of like Lumos.
who now?
Ooh.
Who did
Okay,
what? Now?
we'll get-
Roberto Lamas.
No, I'm saying there's no studio tour for Star Wars currently to date. I mean,
Not that I know of. I know if you go to like the
can't you go
the
to
Academy Museum, I believe they have C-3PO and R2D2.
Oh, the
on display.
original.
Um,
Apparently, there's a guy in that suit.
no comment.
Okay, whatever.
Which suit?
The small one.
Oh, not both.
No, well, yeah, the gold one's obviously a person. But-
no, they built a full robot CGI.
The little guy. Oh, you're talking about... Oh, BB-8. I know BB-8. That's the roly-poly one now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Oh, not a fan. He's so cute.
I'm an OG R2D2 guy.
Okay, well, BB-8.
We'll get there.
All right. Anyway, all right. Before we go,
There's no BB hate, but there's no BB love. There's no BB love.
Okay, we know and not experienced. Da 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 da. So, right now, we are going to do our dry quiz.
Yes, we've selected terms with by ourselves and with help of friends and loved ones.
Yeah. Other super fans. Let's be real.
Yeah, other big fans of
Big fans.
both series. So we have some terms, whether they are phrases.
People, place, thing. Doesn't know.
Yeah.
And we didn't give each other any kind of heads up whatsoever.
No hints,
So
nothing.
we're just going to ask the person what they believe the word to be. And you have to come up with a full definition. You can't just say, I don't know. You're not allowed. You need to tell me, is this a person, place, or thing? And what does it mean? And I have 5 for Greg, and you have 5 for me. Do we want to do all 5 for you first? Drop it like it's hot?
Sure, let's go yours first.
Okay.
And then we'll bring in the guests.
Okay. You ready? First word, your definition of sectum sempra.
That is an operation on the nose. No. I'm going to guess it's like a spell.
Okay. And what does the spell do?
It isolates a wizard from others, because I'm thinking separate for the first
Okay.
word.
Okay.
And I believe it's used by evil doers to sing you.
Single somebody out?
Yes, there we go.
So it's a...
Yeah, to like maybe it's used as an evil by an evildoer to like separate Harry from
his people.
his peeps.
All right. Okay. Word 2. Bezor.
Yeah. What?
Bezor.
I'm going to guess Bezor. Fuck. Bezor is a minor character who works in one of the wizarding schools, and he's just like a side character, and maybe he's like a little guard or someone.
Okay.
I don't know, piece of work.
He's a guard. My last one for you is mugwump. Mugwump.
I'm gonna guess mugwump is a derogatory term for muggle,
Okay.
and it's like almost like a curse.
Okay.
Maybe if someone bumps into a wizarding world seer, something that you might say if a muggle is in their way, or
I'm walking here, you
yeah,
mugwump.
it's like a middle finger.
God.
Yes, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. All right. Now we have two other super fans that have contributed their own words for you to define from the Harry Potter and Larger Wizarding World.
All right, and here's the first.
My word for Greg to define is Nargle.
Nargle. It is an underwater creature who eats humans.
Oh.
He gargles, the Nargle gargles.
Gargles.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Nargle.
Underwater creature.
Probably like a fucking candlestick.
Got it. We should have done spell it, like a spelling quiz. Can you use that in a sentence?
Mugwump. Muggle, whatever.
Mugwump.
Can I use it? Yeah. Language of origin.
Mirror.
All right, and here's my second term.
Last term from the Harry Potter Wizarding World.
Correct. Here it goes.
My term for Greg to define is Horcrux. Horcrux.
Emphasis on the whore.
Horcrux.
Horcrux. That's a good one.
I believe it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like an artifact.
Okay.
I believe it's like an artifact related to wizardry or magic. Probably hard to find. Maybe it's something that Harry needs to get more power against evil or something. I believe it's like an artifact that maybe was stolen or he needs to power up.
Okay. That is the only one that you got even remotely close to.
Oh. Horcrux it up.
All right, my turn.
All right,
Here
so
we go.
listeners, I
Oh,
hope you laughed at that or
God.
were in shock and awe.
these are going to be terrible.
All right, so now I have 5 terms for Alicia to define from the Star Wars universe. And
Goo.
my first one,
Oh, God, here we go.
term, person, place, thing, whatever, is Bib Fortuna.
Bib.
Bib Fortuna.
It is the invention for baby.
Formula?
No, for baby. What's his name?
No idea where you're going.
Baby Yoda. He puts it around his body to protect him.
So you're a fortunate bib. That's what you're going with?
No. Okay. Bib Fortuna. That is a place.
Okay.
That is a Bib Fortuna. Fortuna sounds like a planet. So maybe Bib Fortuna is like North Fortuna, like the top of the ridges of the.
And what famous character do you think is from Bib Fortuna?
Ooh, okay. The girl with the lipstick.
The girl. Oh, interesting. The girl with the lipstick.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman's character.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right.
We'll talk later in
Second
life
word, and
about
the
it.
listeners will love this. Second word, Naboo.
Naboo's got to be a dude.
And for the listeners, these words were picked last week. So I hope you're all laughing right now.
Wait, what?
The word is Naboo.
Naboo.
N-A-B-O.
Naboo. Naboo.
Naboo.
Naboo.
Naboo.
What's the emphasis on the syllable,
It's
bro?
Naboo. There's 2 O's. It's
Naboo.
Naboo.
Naboo. Okay, Naboo.
I know the word.
Oh God. Okay, I'm trying to get it right. Naboo is a character.
Mm-hmm.
Naboo is a small, hairy, lumpy guy who trades things off the market to the people in the resistance. He'll give them
I like where your head's at.
he gives them weaponry. Like, I gotta go to Naboo Traders, And he's like a guy who's like, "Who are you?" And you have to know the code words to get into like his lair. And but he only trades you for his own fortune. You have to. It's like a barter system, and like you have to give him something that's useful. And useful may not be a thing; it could be like information.
Love it.
Okay.
Way off. My third word for Alicia.
Okay.
Wampa. Wampa.
I'm thinking wampum, and isn't that money? Wampum is money. It's like Native American money. So to me, my brain is going money, like.
Whose money used for what?
Okay. Wampa has got to be, because that doesn't sound like prestigious. So it'd be like, again, to me, it would have to be like, because I feel like a lot of the story, you have to be following like the quote unquote good guys. But the good guys are never set up for good stuff. So maybe this is their currency. Maybe this is am I using the right terminology? The resistance. Maybe this is like, all those people kind of on the ground. This is their currency, the wampa. Like it's 50 wampas, 5,000 wampas, sir.
That'd be frightening.
From Naboo.
Way off. Okay. Now we have two terms.
Am I crazy? Wampum isn't wampum currency.
Yeah, but I'm saying wampa.
Okay, well.
Okay. Now I have two terms for Alicia.
Yeah, traditional shell bead of the eastern woodland tribes of Native America.
Sick
Ooh.
Google search.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Thank you, second grade. Mrs. Fisenmeyer. I love
Here's
it.
one. Dagobah.
Decoupage?
Do you want me to play that again?
Can you say the word?
Dagobah.
Dagobah.
It's
Dagobah.
one word. Dagobah. Not day go by.
No, I'm
Day go
thinking,
by.
what's the Dagobah come and me one call.
Do we have to pay royalties if you do that again? Don't do that again.
Dagobah. 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 Person, place, or thing. Dagobah. Doesn't sound like a place. Thing. Dagobah. I already did a guy. Maybe it is a guy.
Ew. It's your husband?
No. Dagobah. Thing. A Dagobah is a tiny explosive device that you can use by day or by night. Dagobah.
Really should make this a whole episode. All right, the last
I want to
term.
know how far off I am.
Last term for Alicia. Here we go.
How about Mon Calamari?
My kamade?
Mon calamari.
Stop it. Calamari?
2 words.
Calamari.
Yeah.
Like the octopus?
Mon calamari.
Okay, that's got to be a guy with lots of tentacles. That's going to be a person. Mon calamari.
Who is he?
It's a person. It can
No,
be a
but, like-
female. It's a non.
Who is he or she?
It's an
Them or they?
It's an androgynous being with lots of tentacles. Mon Kamane? Yeah.
Mon calamari.
Mon calamari. And they live on a planet that has a lot of water. And they are a leader for the I'm trying to think of the lyrics to the Weird Al song.
No cheating.
No. Shh. Mon calamari. But I'm trying to think of the word for they wanted to go be a Jedi. She or he or whoever the being is, the Mon calamari is the ultimate leader of the Jedi.
The kingfish?
Or fishette.
Ultimate leader of the Jedi.
The Jedi. Mon calamari runs the fish sector.
It's
of
actually
the Jedi.
it's actually just a squid dish with Monterey Jack cheese that you can get at your local.
Did you
Olive
mess
Garden.
with me?
No,
Okay. That would be fun.
should have.
Okay.
So those are our
And that's it for
10
now.
terms.
So next week, you
Me,
will have read book 1.
yeah.
And we're going to get any predictions before we go.
Am I making a prediction right now?
Yeah. For
I
book 1.
predict that Harry Potter will be in the first Harry Potter book.
Very solid.
No, I
prediction.
think it's going to be obviously an introduction to the characters. I don't think Harry will interact with, was it Voldemort?
Sure.
whatever. Big V. I don't think HP will meet the V.
Ew.
It's a sex joke, people. I don't think HP and V will combine, but I think it might be a cliffhanger.
Leading into the second book.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a cliffhanger, and maybe like a little shock ending for one of the characters. And I think it's going to be a lot of world building, maybe terms that will be repeated in like 4 or 5 or 6 of the books.
Cool.
That's what I'm guessing. I don't expect to see a fight. Maybe they'll talk of a past fight.
Okay.
Between, I think it's Gandalf. Between Gandolfini and the jabronis down the block. But
well, there's calamari already in these worlds.
Yeah, there's a squid. So I think it's going to be a lot of world building,
Setup, a lot of
setup, and big old cliffhanger.
It's crazy because you're entering the world at the start of the story, whereas I'll be entering the world theoretically in the middle.
Yeah, but that's all everyone.
It's like a cold open.
Well, you'll get a little.
Okay. I know you get like a inner galaxy.
Yeah, the crawl.
Away.
I think they're bringing those back in the future movies. What they announced.
They got rid of it.
Well, it was only for the
4, 5, 6.
For the Skywalker saga.
Is that 4, 5, 6?
It's 1 through 9. So the word is that that's coming back, y'all, and people like it, and it's good. And it before you even see a fucking character, you're like in it. You're in it. Yeah. I don't know what that is. There you go.
Yeah. Well, the beginning. It was one.
You made it like a game show
because it was the only.
That's what I heard.
No, because that's the only song that was pre-programmed into my keyboard in middle school.
Oh, okay.
You could play just that song, and it starts with that.
So you were a keyboard girl. Jesus Christmas.
I never learned how to play the keyboard, by the way. Fun fact. It's sitting in my basement still gathering dust. I gave it to my husband when he turned 28 too, and he also let it gather dust. So we can play that theme song next time we're together. I will plug that dusty thing in just to play that for you.
Did we just find a theme song?
Me singing that? Definitely not. Oh, I think Nokia. What the heck was the...
Nokia.
Wait, was the... Am I just... Never mind. I'm going to sound like an idiot here. The people that made the pianos, were they also the people that made the phones?
I would have to see the spelling and logo, but yeah, you might be onto something there.
Cool.
Never thought of that.
Anyway.
Nokia.
All right. So, till next time.
So I think, that's episode 1. And you now know what to expect from us. And
so know that we know nothing.
Yeah. Dave Filoni, I apologize. Fans, I apologize. Alicia, not so much. So, till next time.
So excited.
May the 4th.
All was well.
Yeah, whatever.